All right, guys, hello. So I am using new software, so hopefully you can see me and you can hear me. And so let me know in the live chat how things are looking and sounding, because I decided I wanted to use OBS. I got a new camera. Anyway, it's pretty exciting. So let's start off by talking about what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to be talking about spiritual books. You guys, I have a big pile of books to talk to you about. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's been amazing diving into some of these. Some I'm like deep in, and some I skimmed in order to be able to share more about them with you. They are all going to be linked in my Amazon store. I have a list, so you can just pop over there and look through all of them yourself in one spot. Hi, Anto. And so there's that. Let me see what I want to do. Sorry, it's like housekeeping stuff. All right, I'm gonna make myself big and hide everything else. Okay, so the reason we're talking about spiritual reading is because it is very, very important. Part of the title of this video talks about how spiritual reading is one of the essentials of holiness. And I did link a Father Ripperger video down below called The Rules of what is it called? The Rule of Life? I think it was The Rule of Life. And so it talks about different areas of your spiritual life that need to be addressed on a daily basis. It's, the morning offering, prayer, rosary, meditation, daily examine. And so this haul is going to be part of that. Housekeeping stuff. I know I have housekeeping things I wanted to tell you guys. Actually, we'll talk about that at the end. Okay, so first off, I need to start by telling you the story of how I ended up with all of these books. So someone I know, I'm not going to go into details, was talking about how she watches she listens to ghost podcasts. She's not Catholic, and she listens to like spooky stories about hauntings and ghost stuff. And I was talking to her a bit about spiritual warfare and the fact that demons exist, and that, we need to be really careful about, things like Ouija boards and tarot cards and horoscopes and yoga and all the things, because they could open up, a portal to the occult, and to like allowing demons to come in, because God, he honors our free will. So when we start doing things that are, kind of welcoming in demons, he's not going to stop them. He has to allow them. Like, they're all under his control, but he also honors our free will. So that's how that works. So I started thinking about it, and I just kind of went on an Amazon hunt and came up with all these books. So I'm going to go one by one and talk about them, and then at the end we will talk about we can chit chat for a minute at the end here if you guys have questions about spiritual reading or spiritual warfare. I also am going to ask a question at the end of every video, because I want to kind of see who's staying to the end, or encourage you to stay to the end. I promise I won't keep you too long, but I love doing these live videos because I love chatting with you. So if you have questions during the live video, then you can put them in all caps in the chat, and I'll see them in a little bit. If you're watching this on replay, then you can just ask questions down in the comments in normal, and I will get to them as soon as possible. And if you become a patron, which is only $1 a month, then you get first dibs on asking questions in these videos, as well as helping me come up with video ideas. So if you want a little bit more interaction from me and a little bit more control over what is aired, then it's just $1 a month. I finally found a perk that would work for me. All right, so let's dive in. So the first book I have for you, and this one I actually got for Ryan, it's called The Diary of an American Exorcist: Demons, Possession, and the Modern Day Battle Against Evil. And this is by Stephen Rossetti. And the way this book works, it's actually really fascinating. It has like a little diary entry. So here's diary day 3. I know you guys can't see that, but diary day, Exorcist diary 3, strong versus weak possession. And then it'll have, it's just super, like just a couple pages, and then it'll have a theological reflection. What is demons manifesting? So it takes you through, so it's very easy to read. I love that it's just little bits, but they are excerpts from, or a discussion of real exorcism. So if you want to kind of understand more about the spiritual realm, this is a great book, and it's by Sophia Press. And like I said, it's linked in my Amazon store. But I bought this for Ryan because I know he finds this stuff interesting as well, and it popped into my email box actually from Sophia Press, and I was like, this is intriguing. Okay. The second book I got as I started to go down this rabbit hole is this one, which I think some of you have read, but it's An Exorcist Explains the Demonic, The Antics of Satan and His Army of Fallen Angels by Father Gabriel Amorth. And he's a pretty well-known exorcist, and I can read you some of the chapters in here. There's not that many. The Victory of Christ Over Sin and Death, Satan and the Fallen Angels, The Cult of Satan and Its Manifestations, The Extraordinary Action of Satan, Possession, Vexation, Obsession, and Infestation. So if you're interested in knowing the differences regarding how Satan bugs us, you can look at that. We probably should have done the unity prayer before this. After I discuss this book, we're going to pray and ask God to cover us so that we don't get any kind of like spiritual attack while we talk about them. Body to Body with Satan, the Exorcism, the Other Means of Struggling with the Devil, and then the Principles of Christian Eschatology, Death, Judgment, Heaven, Purgatory, and Hell. And then there's a really nice prayer for deliverance in the back here. Okay, so before I go any further, let's stop and pray. I don't have the unity prayer in front of me, so we're just going to pray an Ave Maria, asking Mother Mary to cover us with her mantle and to keep the demons at bay while we discuss this very important topic that I'm sure they do not want us to be aware of. So, in nomine Patris et Filii Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum. Benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii Spiritus Sancti. Amen. All right, guys. The next book I got, which I am absolutely in love with, and I'm about 3/5 of the way through, is Spiritual Warfare and the Discernment of Spirits by Dan Burke. Okay, first of all, this is not Cardinal Burke. That was my silly mistake, but it's still an amazing book. So this one's going to go through the 15 rules of St. Ignatius and the Discernment of Spirits, but the first few chapters talk about the personal journey of Dan Burke towards the Catholic Church and towards healing from his past and understanding how that interplayed with the lies Satan tells us about our worth, about God's love, and things like that. So this book, I sit down with it every morning and I read 1 or 2 chapters, journal about it, and sometimes I share quotes with you guys on Instagram. It's hands down one of the books I think that every Catholic should read. It's just the way he introduces the 15 rules makes so much sense. I'm currently in the desolation chapters, and we all experience desolation in our spiritual life, and it's really helpful to understand that tactic of why that happens and what we can do about it. So this, and then the last book I bought in that original haul is this book, which is The Discernment of Spirits in Marriage. I haven't started this book, but it's actually really intriguing. It also goes through the 15 rules of St. Ignatius de Loyola, but it has this couple in here, Mark and Anne. Mark and Anne. And it walks through different scenarios, dialogues with them, and then breaks it down. And I thought that was a really intriguing read. So this is probably, I would assume, but I don't know, a bit lighter than this one. Or if you're wanting to have something that's a little bit more marriage focused. Now again, I haven't read it, but so it says on page 79, it has from Anne's journal, and then from Mark's journal, and then it kind of, has different journal entries. And honestly, I don't know if Mark and Anne are made up or if this is somebody that actually walked through the story. If you guys know more about this book, put it down below. But it is part of my haul. It is my next reading plan. My next book on my reading list is this one. Because we know that Satan is going to attack marriages, and the family is kind of the final frontier of the battlegrounds, as you can tell from society. Okay, now, Dan Burke introduced me, or led me, excuse me, sorry, I got something going on in my mouth. It's a little painful to talk, but I'm just going to keep going. Dan Burke led me to two other, you know, how like one person will lead you to another, more books or more people to study from and learn from. So he mentioned two people. He mentioned Father Jean-Pierre de Cassade. I looked it up how to pronounce this earlier. Now I'm forgetting. I think it's Casada. And then he's French. And then, of course, Theresa of Avila, Saint Theresa of Avila. And so what I did is I first looked up this book. This is kind of Father, I'm going to just call him Father Jean-Pierre. It's his well-known work. And it's called Abandonment to Divine Providence. And what it is a series of talks that he gave the Sisters of the Visitation. And so there was some talk online about how there's some repetition in this book because he's giving these lectures and the sisters wrote them, I think they wrote them down and then compiled it into a book. But you guys know how much I love divine providence, trustful surrender. You never can have that too much. And so this is the original work. Then this little book is amazing, and it takes this and breaks it down into, I mean, can you guys see that? Like, just little snippets from his work. It's supposed to be Jean-Pierre's self-abandonment to divine providence for everyone. And it certainly is. Like, it's just, it looks little kiddish, but honestly, it's been amazing. It has changed my life because God is definitely sending me a message right now that says you need to live in the now, not in the past, and certainly not in the future, which is where I tend to go when I become desolated, is about the future. Is desolated a word? Anyway, and this book, this little, very approachable book, has been a complete godsend. It's so cute and little, but yet it's been, there are really no words. I highly, highly suggest getting this book. If you struggle with living in the present, if you struggle with worry, this is the book to get. Okay, and then for Saint Theresa of Avila, now I have Interior Castle. I've read some of it, but I was like, you know what I want is something a bit more approachable from Saint Theresa. And so this little one came up on Amazon, and I was like, sure, I'll get this one. So it says, "Let nothing disturb you, Theresa of Avila." I guess these little books are a series. I don't know what the series is called, but I think there's ones for other saints as well. But what it is a daily devotional, and so you have just a few words. Sorry, that's so bright, you guys. There's a couple pages of Saint Teresa's words, and then you have all through the day, you have like a meditation that you carry with you all day. And so this, on day 11, it says, "Do not be anxious." And you're just supposed to kind of think on that and pray about it and maybe meditate on it with God, you know, speak to God about it. And then in the evening, there is the same prayer for the end of the day, and it's really beautiful. And if my voice, if I'm not in too much pain at the end, I will read it to you guys. So I'll leave it to the side, but I wanted to get through everything. So I have no idea how long I've been on. Does it even tell me? Yes, it does. 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. But those are all the books. And what they did is, okay, so let's talk a bit now about, this is what happens in live videos. Let's talk a bit now about why, like, how I work spiritual reading into my life. I do my spiritual reading in the morning. I ideally get up an hour before my family. It doesn't always happen, but that is the way I do it. So I get out of bed, I don't do anything else except grab coffee, and I sit down and I pray the morning offering in bed. You really, 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 really want Jesus Christ in your morning offering to be the very first thing you think about every single day. Those first moments and what you focus on are hugely important. And I'll probably do a whole video on that separate, based on Father Ripperger's kind of his different touch points for what is, what should be part of your rule of life. But so what I do is, I don't have it with me now because I was journaling earlier, but I'll sit down and I'll do the daily readings using my iPieta app, and then I will, or the Benedictus magazine if it shows up, but it takes like a month to get here in Germany, so like I only get to use it for like a week and then it's not accurate anymore. So I use the iPieta app, and then I open up usually this Dan Burke one, and I read a chapter and I write down anything that stands out to me. I speak to God through and then I pull my prayer journal out and I talk to God through that. And then I go about my day. And so that's just the way to work it in. Father Ripperger says even 5 minutes with imitation of Christ or humility of heart is going to get you to a different place than had you not done a spiritual reading for the day. If you're more curious about how to create a rule of life, there is this book called A Mother's Rule of Life, and she takes her I've talked about this book before, but she takes 5 P's, and I can't remember what they are right now, but they're like, it's pretty much God, marriage, children, household, community. I think that's how it kind of works out. And she takes those and lays them out in order, and pretty much what you're doing is creating an actual schedule of prayer and a schedule regarding your duties in your state in life. So it's a very helpful book. Even if you read it and you just kind of absorb it, it is better to actually have times of the day where you do specific prayers. Father Ripperger will explain it in the video if you watch it, but there's that. So I'm almost done with my talking here. I think I got through everything. So like I said before, all the books are linked down below. There's just one link and it takes you to my Amazon store, and they're all there in a bundle so that you can just look through them. New videos every Thursday. You guys know about that. And then I'll ask the question at the end, but I'm going to pull up chat, and hopefully you guys aren't like, I can't hear you. And oh cool. Okay, so I see the chat here. And so if you guys have questions for me, I don't have any questions for my patrons, or else this is where I would be answering that question. But I have you guys, so I'll say hello to you and then see if there's anything here that you guys want to ask. So SK says good morning. Thank you for praying. Gluten nach Mittag? Isn't it gluten? Or am I wrong somehow? Okay. You love ghost stories, really? Oh, thank you, Michael. Okay, there we go. Are you doing readings today? What do you mean? Hi, Ernie. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, I don't read Harry Potter. That is another one that could be. There's a lot of controversy around Harry Potter, and actually I have gone down a rabbit hole, and I actually haven't found anything I haven't found anything qualifying Harry Potter as legit occult. It has magic in it, but so does like Lord of the Rings or Narnia. And there's a rumor out there that J.K. Rowling used true Latin prayers, or I guess like satanic prayers or spells, but from what I researched, I couldn't find anything substantiating that other than like hearsay. So we don't read Harry Potter in my family. There's so many other good books out there, but there's a lot of Catholics who love it, so I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it's too bad about Russia. We need to pray. We need to continue. Oh, speaking of which, so today is First Friday. So if you can't make it to Mass, at least pray the Litany of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. say some kind of prayer to Sacred Heart. You can consecrate yourself to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. But please, as you go throughout the day, Fiona, do you have a site for that? As you go throughout the day, just please remember Jesus' Sacred Heart. Tomorrow's First Saturday, so I don't get to do the First Saturday devotions here. It's just kind of impossible. But if you are in a place where you can go to confession and Mass on Saturday, not Sunday Vigil Mass, you have to go to Saturday day Mass, okay? And you have to go to confession as well. But that's only 5 First Saturdays, and if you can't, then at least, honor First Saturday for Our Lady, maybe fast, or say some extra prayers, maybe say the entire rosary, so that we are and we want to always pray for the conversion of Russia, even though I think it's too late, and but maybe not, and for peace throughout the world. Okay. Yeah, so Father Ripperger is the one saying it, but I read a bunch of stuff that was saying that he might be mistaken, unless he has some kind of knowledge through like actual exorcisms. I heard that he was quoting somebody. He heard it. It was like a rabbit hole, guys. So anyway, we don't need to talk about Harry Potter, like, other than to say that, like, I'm not gonna touch anything that's questionable. I don't touch. Like, we don't do Pokemon in our family either, even though like it's like this. But anyway, let me drink some water. I'm just... Okay. It's hard to talk. What else do we got here, guys? So, yeah, it says, what books do you recommend for new Catholics other than Catechism for Adults? Okay, I wouldn't read Catechism for Adults. I'm working on a blog post for this right now where I'm going to be able to send all the new Catholics. But there's so many books. I'm trying to think if I could pull up my document and read them to you. But pretty much, Why We're Catholic by Trent Horn is a good just kind of overview. I would do the Catechism of St. Pius X. I'm looking to see if I have it here. But I don't. I moved it. The Catechism of St. Pius X is inexpensive. It's a question and answer. I would always read that catechism before any other catechism. Unless you want to do like a Baltimore catechism that's geared towards children, but you can read that one. I think the 4th one is geared towards adults. But I would definitely, I don't know, Diego, what you're talking about. Oh. So Why We're Catholic, a good catechism, not anything new. That's just me though. And then, like, if you want, it depends on where you need to go. Like, if you want to go into, like, apologetics about Mary or something like that. If you want stories of other converts. So just, why don't you, Michael, are you the one that asked? No. Michael says, I'm thinking of getting the Catechism of the Council of Trent. You can. So just remember that catechisms are written for different groups of people. So the Catechism of the Council of Trent, actually Ryan was listening to a video the other day and he said that is the only one that is fully dogmatic. So he's busy. But the Catechism of the Council of Trent is very good. It was written for priests. So just know that that's who the audience is at the time of its writing. The Catechism of St. Pius X is the only catechism written by a pope for the people. And if you study the life of Pope Pius X, you will understand that he had a very strong heart towards educating people and having people catechized well. So I'm just never going to stop recommending that catechism. And I think it's between $7 and $12. You can't go wrong. Whereas I have a beautiful Catechism of the Council of Trent. But they're just going to cover different things. And then the newest one, like the green one I have, that because I have that big green one with the glossary. That one, it was written for the bishops. And I can't remember if it was written for the American bishops or the Italian bishops or all the bishops. But it's not really lady friendly. It has stuff in there, but it's almost too much to where we start walking towards this idea that we can somehow interpret that all those different levels of authority ourselves when we can't. We need the church to do that for us. Okay, what else are we talking about? Lord of the Rings is, yes, so Lord of the Rings was written by a very devout Catholic. So I tend to go towards that. Narnia was written by, he got to Anglicanism. Is that even a word? Anglicanism? Anyway, he got to the Anglican Church, and do you guys remember when I used to call it Anglican? Oh, it's funny. Okay. Let's see. An atheist once, let's see, Eric asks, what do you think of Medjugorje, and will you go there since I can't go anywhere. We don't have the shot, so I can't go anywhere. But that's a whole other video, what I think of Medjugorje. I'm still reading My Heart Will Triumph. I'm like this about Medjugorje. I'm just, an atheist once said that Harry Potter is a better book than the Bible. Then they don't understand the Bible. What do you think about the movie Bernadette? Is that the Song of Bernadette? I love that movie. Eric says, born fundamentalist, born again Catholic is an excellent apologetic work. Ooh, that's good. Thank you, Eric, for the SK, a fantastic YouTube channel for new Catholics, is how to be Christian. Never heard of that YouTube channel. Anto says the mistake that Vatican II did was accepting all religions as universal. All right, God will them, yeah. Imitation of Christ is an amazing book. You're welcome. I would just do Pius X first because you can read it in a week, or unless you want to actually meditate with it, but it is a really good book. Emma, when I said lady friend, I'm sorry. I know I have an infection in my mouth, and it's just making it really hard to speak clearly. Hi Davis, welcome. Let's see. SK says, Divine Intimacy is a beautiful read and was one of my first deep dives into morning reflections when I was single and was incredible. Awesome. Oh, Anto, I have no idea about, Bernadetta. Yeah. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. Life is way too short for me to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Just pray for those people. When you come across sin, just pray for them and move on. The devil wants to distract you. He wants you to focus on the sins of the world. But the only sins we really should be focused on are our own sins. The ones that keep us either straying off the narrow path or taking us close to the edge, or that are keeping us from perfection. So again, in that video by Father Ripperger, The Rule of Life, and it's linked down below in the description already, he talks you through the second half of the video. He talks about how to start picking either a vice to root out or a virtue to develop, or both. So we really need to not be too distracted by the world, guys, because it's gonna be evil no matter what time we live in, no matter if you're in the 400s or the 1500s, or now. There's always going to be sin. There's always going to be a loud ruckus by the devil. And to think otherwise, I think, is a bit naive. I think we glamorize the past and we think, oh, it was really awesome in the 50s or the 40s or the 60s, not 60s, the 50s. I guess we get kind of hung up on that era. And I think it's from the art that depicts the family. But there was a lot of sin going on in the 50s. Sin is never going to, be away. It's just right now the devil's just kind of having a fit and things are just, loud. Another thing I wanted to bring your attention to. Oh, no. I know, I need to go. This book, guys, here we go. Deliverance Prayers for the Laity by Father Ripperger. If you want me to do a video on how I use this book, let me know in the comments below. I can. But there is a book or a prayer in here, a short prayer. I'm going to read it to you. I'm not going to actually invoke any demons, so don't worry. But this book is not scary. This book has amazing prayers, and as long as you're praying for yourself or somebody that you have authority over, like because you have authority over your spouse because of the covenant of marriage, you have authority over your biological children or your adopted children, and I think you have authority over your parents based on the fourth commandment. I don't remember about siblings. I think you might have siblings as well. Okay, But page 19, I pray this almost daily because we are being attacked by demons. I just read in this book right here, The Demons, I think it was this book. I think it was. It says something along the lines that if you could see the demons, they would blot out the sun. That's how many there are. There's just millions, you guys, right? That are just hovering and they're whispering in you, and they can mess with your images in your head, your thoughts. They can create all sorts of dissonance. Anytime that you won't forgive somebody, that is from a demon. Like, God has to allow the demons to mess with you, and there's some people I'm sure he keeps completely safe from spiritual warfare. But if you're dealing with spiritual warfare, you need to have weapons. And yes, the rosary is the first weapon in our spiritual warfare, but we have prayers we can pray. You should be praying the St. Michael prayer every day. But I'm going to read you this one on page 19. If you have this book, this is the one that Father Ripperger is like, this is my go-to. And so even like the thing going on with my mouth, I have a friend who's very charismatic, and she said, you need to renounce the demon of infirmity of the mouth. And I'm just not joking. You have to do this, because even if you think it's physical, we have to understand that the physical and the spiritual are totally like this. Okay. So you can pray in Latin, and it's okay if you stumble through the Latin because they all know what you're saying and God all knows. But you say, Spirit of the Spirit, I bind you in the name of Jesus, by the power of the Holy Cross, by the power of the most precious blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. And say it firmly, you guys. You are a child of God. And by the intercessions of the Blessed Virgin Mary, St. Michael the Archangel, the blessed apostles Peter and Paul, and then you can list your personal saints that you have a devotion to. Like I always mention St. Anne and St. Joachim. Ryan always mentions St. Joseph. I should start mentioning St. Joseph. And all the saints, I command you to leave. You can say me, or you can say, anyone you have authority over, and go to the foot of the Holy Cross to receive your sentence. Now, and then sign the cross. And it's really, really, really powerful. And sometimes that prayer will immediately resolve a headache or a backache or, I don't know, feelings of anxiety, whatever it is. Sometimes it takes a few days or multiple prayers, but you're not going to get attacked if you have proper authority, and he explains it all in the beginning of the book. But anyway, I can do a whole video. It sounds like you guys are interested in that. I'm going to check comments real fast. Oh, question of the video. What saint are you excited about to visit with in heaven? Like, who are you like, when I get to heaven, the first saint I'm going to go hang out with is, like, what saint would you want to get a beer with or a glass of wine? Or, like, just, like, because you guys know, I love St. Alphonse de Liguori, so I'm going to head over to him and be like, I just want to say thank you. Like, I probably am just going to sit there and just be in awe of him and say thank you so much, because he's had a huge influence in my walk towards, like, being closer with Christ and understanding death and just so many things. Okay, let's see. Okay, you guys are talking about stuff I don't understand, so I'm not going to comment. I mean, just because I have never heard of that before. Let's see. Oh, SK, your husband says that prayer every night at the end of the night, prayers? Huh. Really? What demons do you call on? Is it that one? There are prayers in here specifically for bedtime. Learning about saints. Oh, that's a different video. Okay, you guys, if you have, I'm going to shut the video down, wrap it up. We're going to pray a memorare for America and Germany. But, well, of course, after the Blessed Virgin Mary, she's the one that comes and takes you to heaven. So we have to, that's not the question. Of course, Mary. So anyway, that's a given. Okay, especially if you've consecrated yourself, which, go watch the consecration video if you haven't. Okay, I'm wrapping it up because I have to go. I wanted to tell you guys about this, though. There is a physician declaration, global COVID, ooh, I used the C word, global summit, physician declaration, global summit about you know what from September. And as of 9/28, 6,700 doctors and scientists signed this Rome Declaration. I will link it down below. You can read it for yourself. I'm sure it's even higher now, but this is exciting stuff. This is the kind of stuff that gives me a lot of hope. Prayer memorare. If there's any last comments or things, I will do that then. So, in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored thy help, or sought thy intercession was left unaided. Inspired with this confidence, I fly unto thee, O Virgin of Virgins, my Mother. To thee do I come, before thee I stand, sinful and sorrowful. O Mother of the Word incarnate, despise not my petition, but in thy mercy hear and answer me. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. All right, guys. So make sure down below in the comments, not just here, but if you commented here, comment in the comment of the video. One, that helps YouTube, like, oh, this is an active video. And two, then other people can read it, because a lot of people don't look at this live chat when they watch the replay, and that's when most of the views happen. New video next week on confession. If you want to ask me a question about confession and have it answered in the video, you have to join my Patreon. It's $1 a month. So it's just very nominal. But I love my patrons. There's some of them have been around for a long time in there. And it's just a really sweet way for you guys to support this, because obviously it's not free. I just had to pay for a camera. But it's okay. It's whatever it is. God will always provide. And I absolutely love doing this with you guys. Like, I love it. You guys teach me so much. And, but, so anyway, next week, confession, even though it's Our Lady of the Rosary, we're talking about the Rosary on the 14th. And that's with kids, the Rosary with kids. But, okay. I think that's it. I am doing a marriage Q&A on the 21st. But again, you have to be a patron if you want to ask me a question about marriage, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get enough in there. If I don't get enough, I'll open it up. But that's how that works. All right, guys. I think that's it. I feel like there's all this housekeeping stuff. I have a new website coming out, but probably not for a couple weeks, because it's kind of a beast. But there'll be all sorts of information on there for new Catholics, like book suggestions and apps and all sorts of things. So that'll be fun. All right, guys. This has been too long. I love you all. Thank you for being here with me. And thank you for being patient, because I know I normally, maybe I mean the 13th, whatever that Thursday is. I wrote it down somewhere. 7th? No, the 14th. I go live on Thursdays. Okay, normally. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a very blessed day. Bye.